Floyd's Mayhem Garage here. Well, trying to get some work done on this Dana 60 for the C500. Let's dig a little deeper into it. All right, we are post-fire here, and you know, that's bad, difficult, hard in its own ways. Can't do anything about it now. So I'm still trying to just be productive and doing something, other things, whatever. And so it's been on my list for a while. I ended up putting, and actually I bought them the morning of the fire. I bought some tires through work, and about a half hour later I got the phone call that the house is on fire. So I've got some new tires on the back of the C500. They're a little bit taller than the ones that were on there, and then I've got some front ones ordered as well. So along with that, I've been wanting to work on this axle. So this is a Dana 70. This is a pickup truck axle, not a cabin chassis axle. So this one is 6 inches wider than the one that's in there now, and the extra, it's 3 inches per side, and all that distance is in here between the leaf spring and the drum or wheel, you know. And then also this is a 354 gear rear end, where the one that's in there is a 410. So there's gonna be better gearing, it's gonna be wider, it's gonna fit better with the bed. But I'm trying to just get some rebuilding done of it, if you will. I want to put all new brakes on it. One brake shoe was rusted to the brake, or one brake drum was rusted to the brake shoes, and so that axle came out easy. Well, this one is now spinning with the you know, with the diff, whatever, you know. And the spider gears are just in there spinning because this one's not froze up. Normally I could just zip them off with a impact, you know, pneumatic impact, but because of the house fire, I have no power out here anymore. So no power means no air compressor, no power tools, no impact. I've got what power was left in my battery impact, which is just a little 1/4 inch impact, you know, and then my drill. So I can use those for a little bit here, but once the power runs up in those, I don't have power in those. And so as well, I'm trying to get these off. So I had a box end wrench that I was hitting with a smaller hammer, and so now I've got my 1/2 inch drive here that I'm now, where did it go? I've got a, oh yeah, I've got a much bigger hammer, this guy. So see if I can get these things broke loose, because if I can at least get these broke loose, I can then get the axle out, get the spindle nut off, and you know, keep going with tearing this side apart. So the other drum, I ended up breaking getting it off, which wasn't a big deal because these kind of looked like they needed replaced anyways. So but took a pretty good chip out of it. So I ordered some new ones anyway, so I'll pretty much get this axle rebuilt. And same thing, taking this apart, this was still attached to the back of that rear frame, and so I actually undid all the U-bolts by hand. And it took forever, but I actually saved them. So because I figured, I was hoping, I didn't want to buy new U-bolts, just one of those expenses, you know, if I can save them, might as well. But slow going here. Let me get a hammer on this guy and see if I can get those bolts broke loose. All right. Naturally, the GoPro's dying as well, so I'll film what I can. There may be some bits and pieces skipped out of here, but I'll try to fill it in best I can. As well too, you know, fire happened. Suppose some of you might be wondering too, you know, shouldn't you be cleaning up the house instead of working on your cars? Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen with a house fire. So we are currently waiting on results to come back for asbestos see if anything was in there since this is an older house. It shouldn't be with the year of the house, but gotta test it and gotta kind of wait anyway. So we're currently in a standstill waiting on results with that before we get really started on the house. So keeping myself busy. Hey! All right, drum off. Got everything kind of sprayed down with brake parts cleaner here. One of the things I did was I bought some new wheel cylinders, and part of that is I gotta undo them from the brake line, but the brake line on this is broken. I bought new brake lines, so I figured, I already unhooked it there. I started unhooking it here. I realized I should probably kind of keep you up to date as to what I'm doing. This line is broken, and that line on this side is broken. It almost looks like somebody cut them, or I don't know what happened. But yeah, so both of them are messed up on both sides. These are just standard flare fittings, and surprisingly they're coming right off. You know, I suppose this is like a 91 to 93 axle out of like a D350. Had a Cummins in it, so it's really not that old of a rear axle, I guess. You know, where I know most brake lines I deal with, you're just almost guaranteed to break them. So get these off, pry these open, get the line out. I got some new line for it, just some hard, just straight line, and so I'll kind of match them up size wise, bend them, and make them match. So, and like shorty here actually might not be too bad. So I'll bend that up and get it close to what it was, get it in there. You know, it won't be exact, but it'll be good. I'll get it back into the original holder, and I'll do the same for that side. And then yeah, once I do that, I'll basically sort of mock them up into here, loosen them up again, pull the wheel cylinders out, redo the brakes. I'm still waiting on brake shoes, so I'm only going to get part way on this today. So then once I get the brake shoes, I'd like to get my drums into the press. We got a press back there, and a little dark in here, but should be able to get it done. And at least get the hubs separated from the drums, and get ready for when I do have the drums. And yeah, continue that. Good progress. All right, new component pieces, springs, wheel cylinders, brake shoes, new brake lines, both sides, and this side as well. So yeah, got as far as I wanted to. We're just starting to get dark too, which is perfect. So I'm gonna go set this axle down, park the tractor, and we'll resume this tomorrow, maybe next day. Yeah, it'll be right after this for you guys. But I'll get the drums, reassemble this thing, and maybe throw a coat of paint on it. We'll see. And at that point, it is basically ready for the C500. So this is gonna be exciting. I'm excited for this this different gearing. This is gonna be geared very similar to my crew cab. So tire size is close, and then gearing's the same. Transmission's a little bit different. This is I think it's a 0.77 to 1 overdrive. The NV4500 is 0.74 to 1. I believe maybe it's 0.72. Anyways, the NV45 is a little bit taller on the overdrive, but other than that, they are very similar. So yeah, do the drums next and get this thing, you know, assembled. All right, dark over here, but I think there should be just enough light for you to see. Kind of. So the drum fits just nicely in the press without having actually changed the height, which is awesome. So we should be able to just crank these guys out. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And just like that, you can see in them holes where it gets pressed through the hub and the drum. And being pressed through the drum into the hub is what actually holds them in. And now, just like that. So there's your Dana 60, ooh, heavy too, Dana 60 hub. And then drum separate, so new drums, press the studs in, pretty much just opposite of what I did. And yeah. All right, I think I need to catch you up to speed. So got the C500 pulled up. I've been working on the axle. I've also forgotten my GoPro several times. You know, I just head over here after work and work on this for an hour or two in the light. So new drums, got those painted so they don't rust as bad. Pulled the diff apart. I really don't remember where we left off, so some of this might be doubled up. But yeah, the new drums, new wheel cylinders, new brake shoes, new brake assemblies there. So I'll have to go through and actually set the adjusters and get the shoes tightened up and whatnot. Don't have axles in it yet. I got to put those in still, but diff is on. No fluid in it currently because I put a locker in here, and I put a Lunchbox locker. Those are just ones that replace the spider gears. It was actually a pretty easy install, minus the roll pin that holds your big center pin in place. I had a hell of a time getting that roll pin out, and mainly because I didn't have the right size punch. And so the one punch I had was too big, and it was just barely too big. So instead, and you know, typically what I've done multiple times, I go through punches pretty quickly. If it falls in between two sizes like that, I'll grind the bigger one down until it fits the hole perfectly, and then you can punch it right out basically. Well, I don't have any power right now. So as you see, you know, shop is still dark. We got no music going, no lights, no nothing. So working in just daylight at this point. I couldn't do that, so I started using a smaller punch, and I think that's where I really messed up, because I ended up just mauling the end of the roll pin, and ended up getting pretty much stuck in the housing, and I had to work it out both ways, and I finally came back one other direction and finally got it out. Nightmare couple day process there. But the roll pin, if I didn't have the issue with the roll pin, it would have been a really quick install. But now that that's all done and pretty much more or less ready to go, I think it's time to start pulling the axle out of this guy. So, and again, the whole idea behind what I'm doing here is I want to put that flatbed on here. Before I do that, this looks like a great time to work on this. This is the cab and chassis axle, so it's 6 inches narrower than this one. This is a pickup truck axle. And then as well, this has 410 gears in it versus the 354 gears. And so my top end right now is like 80, 85, something like that, and that is screaming top end. It won't go any faster. So the 354 gears will really help that out. And then yeah, it'll fit nicer with my bed as well, because my bed is 7 foot wide, and I think I'm 6'6" right now. So this other axle will basically make the wheels and tires line up much better with that other bed. So yeah, I suppose let's get after it. making good progress. U-bolts were a pain. The set I had ended up being too short, so I had to use a different set from one of my other projects. Luckily I had some. And doing those by hand, of course, took forever. Got the brakes bled partially, should be good enough for now. Did my board up against the brake pedal and against the seat trick and bled it by myself, so I'm sure there's some air in there. I can use those later. I should have some brakes at least. Well, as of now, I need to adjust the star wheel still, get the brakes set out, put the axles in, wheels and tires, and I think that's it. I think. We'll see. I'm sure I'm missing something. Always am. Never get everything on the first try. But curious that locker, one of those Lunchbox type lockers, you know. I've heard some in some off-road vehicles, or some off-road, you know, Jeeps and stuff and whatnot. I'm curious how noisy it's going to be. So hopefully, because I know I've heard some of them where they click really bad, and it sounds like something's broken. But even if that's the case, it's gonna help so much in any kind of weather, snow, even rain. But you know, go pick up vehicles on a somebody's sandy road or driveway, or even down in the like the desert or something. So hopefully that locker will help out that part at least. Awesome! I gotta do a final tighten on the lug nut still, and then I believe we are ready for a test drive. I'm curious to see how this thing cruises. And you can definitely tell it's wider. You can see the mud flap to tire ratio, and then before the tires were right up against the leaf springs. Now there's 4 inches or so there. It was about an inch, so that 3 inches overall, or per side for the 6 inches overall. So that's awesome. It'll look better with the bed. Of course, the mud flaps are temporary, as my hangers are also broken and they're just flopping. They're held up against the frame. But the wider axle is going to do better with that bed that I've got, because it is a 7-foot wide bed. And then, of course, the gearing in this. This has the 354 gears. So that I'm super stoked about and super excited about. That is going to be a blast. Not even a blast, it's going to drive so much better. This thing, it had no top end, which, you just ran through the gears. It sounded like you were like a fully loaded semi. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth, about that fast it seemed like. So yeah, let me do a final tighten on some lug nuts, and I think we're going to take it for a spin. You can see the axle width in the mirror. From the stack to the mud flap was even, if not even a little bit in. That's cool. That's going to be nice. Of course, still got to work on that, but we're getting there. shift and steer isn't working.